What's up, folks? It's Dr. Reveiw, and I'm coming at you once again from the X-Lair to provide you my very deep and insightful review, reaction, whatever the fuck you want to call it, of this magnificent new film that was just released. All of you know that Marvel has been on a hot streak, and Black Panther, which was finally released, is just another great stride in this wonderful trajectory that these folks have had to just create the most beautiful cinematic world that any Marvel fan could have never imagined would be possible. But they keep doing it. They keep doing it right, and it's wonderful. And this movie is wonderful, and there's just a lot about it that I wanted to talk about because as we all know, this is an important movie beyond it just being a comic book movie, beyond it just being this wonderful spectacle. It is a very socially significant film. It is the first big budget, all black film that is at the level of every other blockbuster that comes out that's mainly made up of predominantly white players. And so that has a huge impact, not just on the cinematic world, but really in the society in general that we all live in, given the things that have been going on in the world recently, which are somewhat troubling, as you all know. And so that definitely needs to be talked about. I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about the actual movie as part of the cinematic universe, but I'm also going to be talking about the actual filmmaking, because Ryan Coogler is a master of the craft. He went to USC Film School. I went to USC Film School. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he does it beautifully and flawlessly. I watched Creed a few months ago. I hadn't seen Creed because I dropped out of the Rocky franchise, after 5 or something. And then I heard that this was happening, Creed, and then I heard really good things about it, but still I wasn't drawn back in because I didn't really care about Rocky anymore. But then I sat down and watched the movie, and it was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful film. Everything about the way it was shot, the way it was put together, what it ultimately wound up being was fantastic. And so the guy knows what he's doing, and this movie is just another example of that. So I just want to talk about the social significance first of this film. Again, I mentioned that it is the first all black super blockbuster film where it's not there's always been this thing about there are black films and then there's the other films, right? If it's an all black cast, it's a thing, right? Here it isn't a thing. It's just it's an all black cast, but we're not talking about it oh, it's a black movie or all this bullshit that we've always heard. I've always heard throughout my fucking entire life. It's just a movie, and it happens to have a predominantly African American black cast, and that's awesome that we're not fucking talking about it as a black movie, but we're talking about it as just a fucking movie, and that's the way it should be. And so that's really important. The fact that African American black people in this country, throughout the world, are able to see themselves in this film, not represented as an ancillary group. Oh, we're gonna help the white people save the world or whatever. No, it's they are the world. Their world matters, and what we're seeing on it is completely reverent to them. There's no fucking backhanded weird sequences, scenes where it's tongue-in-cheek, we're being a little bit racist, but not really. Nothing of that sort. It's just very sort of clear-cut, these are people, they happen to have black skin, but they're people, and they have lives, and they interact, and they have enemies, and it's just normal. It's normal. It's not oh, well, let's point out the weird differences. What is termed in academia as otherizing, where you take a group and you always highlight them as being other, different than the norm. That is not in any way present in this film, which I think is so fantastic. But really the most important aspect of this film, and as I was watching it, I was feeling something similar to what happened in 2008 when Barack Obama was elected president. It was just that feeling of knowing that there are like these little black children out there that are gonna watch this movie, and they're just gonna be immersed in a world of people that look like them. That's just like normal. It's not, again, all that shit I just talked about. Like none of that it will seep into their perception of what they see, and it will provide them like that sense of like just absolute confidence and like and the notion that they fit in, you know, that they're not outsiders, that they aren't other, that they are the norm, and there's nothing wrong with them, you know. Just like when Barack Obama was elected, I was like, damn, there's going to be a whole generation of kids that are going to grow up and they're going to see this man, this black man, be their president, and that's going to inspire them to be better themselves. Like, you know, it's like bottom line, like in this country, African American communities, like they tend to be like low income because of all the bullshit with slavery and Jim Crow and all that crap that went on. And so as a result of that, like, you know, you have a lot of generations that are lost in those communities, and so younger people don't really have role models. They don't really have people to like look up to. In general, there of course are exceptions, and there are a lot of black role models out there. But it's just when they're looking around them, you know, around their communities, like there's not enough of that. Of like, you can be great. Like here's examples of people being great. You can do it too. They see a lot of examples of the opposite. And so, you know, that tends to lead people to make maybe like the wrong decisions, or maybe not have like the confidence that they can be better. And so Barack Obama provided a template for them, a sort of an iconic kind of goal for them to always have as a possibility, something that can actually be achieved. This film, again, does a similar thing, and it's just, these things are so important. I know people write it off a lot, like, oh, there's all these social justice warriors, like, talking about, like, all this shit all the time, trying to fucking just highlight how, like, we are doing all this shit wrong, and, like, why can't we just, like, enjoy ourselves? We can't, because we don't live in a historical vacuum. Like, history has been turbulent, and, like, up until this point, like, shit has been kind of fucking weird. In general, when I say up until this point, I'm talking about hundreds of years. Like, I'm not talking about the last 20 years. I'm talking about, like, hundreds of years, thousands of years. Shit has been fucked up. And we need to be constantly working to change that. Like, we developed over a time period where we weren't sitting down and all thinking, oh, well, let's do the right thing and make this better by, like, really organizing it the right way. No, it was just, like, people trying to grab power, and then all of a sudden, the present day. It wasn't in any way a process that would try to be as fair as possible, to try to give as many people as possible the, you know, opportunity and balance in their lives in terms of like financial stability, the things that everybody deserves to have, you know, in this world where we have really a lot to offer, all of us, just humanity wide. We have a lot that we've accomplished, and there's a lot of promise for what every single person can have, but the bottom line is, like, every single person is not able to have all of the things that we have available to us in this world, and that needs to change. And like we constantly need to be making strides to a more equitable world where everybody has the same fighting chance to just like really thrive and shine in this world. And that's not the world we live in yet, but it will be soon. Eventually, and moments like this will help to get us there. With the feminist stuff that's going on, like the Me Too movement, and everything that we hear about, like, you know, there being a push for more women and people of color to be like both in front and behind the camera in the film industry, but really throughout all industries, and to stop all the like misogyny and like the patriarchy and the racism and all this stuff. Like, it's important that we keep pushing for that, because there is a better world that's possible, and we constantly need to be working at it. And I know that it's uncomfortable to have to face that and to have to think about that, but like, that's the world we live in, you know. And some people have no choice but to be uncomfortable, because they're at the losing end of the whole dynamic every single day. And so I'm sorry to those people that feel like, oh, well, you know, people are like always getting on their soapboxes and trying to like push, you know, like these progressive agendas onto us. And it's like, yeah, I get why that can be a problem for you because you are at the winning end of this. But it's like in the end, like you don't live in this world alone. There's billions of people in this world. We need to constantly be working to build a more equitable society worldwide so that there isn't as much inequality and injustice, etc., and that people do have the ability to you know, like rise above you know, whatever it is that they are expected to sort of be in their lives because of the color of their skin, because of their gender, etc. So we need to constantly be working at that. And I know this is a long speech I just made about something that may or may not in your mind be related to Black Panther, but it's totally related to Black Panther because, like I said at the beginning, this is a great accomplishment. I know, like, when I went to the theater yesterday, there were these two. This is an elderly Black couple, and one of them was sitting in my assigned seat. And she was, like, handicapped or whatever, and she said something about, like, needing to sit there. It was weird. In the end, I had a right to the seat, and I would have fought for it normally. But I was like, you know what? These are two older Black folks. They have lived in this fucking world their entire lives. I don't even want to imagine what they've gone through. I mean, I'm a relatively brown person. I'm half white, half Latin. So, you know, for me, it's a mixed bag. But, like, for someone that's, like, Black, I don't even want to imagine, like, this sort of bullshit that they have to deal with. This sort of, on a daily basis, like, in just daily interactions with people. Like, just, like, that constant reminder of, like, you're different. And you're going to be treated differently. And you're going to have to fucking deal with the feelings. Or you're going to go to prison if you can't. You know, bullshit like that. And it's like, I was like, you know what, this is an important moment for these people. Like, they're going to get to see this movie now. And I know there's been other movies with Black superheroes like Blade and whatever, but this is a movie where it's not just a Black superhero. It's like everyone's Black. Yeah, there's a couple of white characters here and there, but like everybody's majority Black. Like, that's different. And for there to be the budget that's plumped into it and like all the creative forces that Disney and Marvel are able to offer, this is a special moment in history, and especially for folks like this that have never seen something like this, that have grown up in this world, become older, and never got to experience a moment like this where they just get to watch a movie where the people that look like them, again, are treated as normal. The quality is at the highest level possible, and nobody's talking about the fact that it's a Black movie, or like, you know, it's like, it's just what it is. And that is such a beautiful thing. And I wanted them to have it, so I didn't even fight them for it. I just took another fucking seat and dealt with it. I didn't care. Like, it didn't even frustrate me. I was just like, you know what? Take my seat. Take my seat. Enjoy this fucking movie. Enjoy this experience because you fucking deserve it. Because you've been through some shit. I don't even want to fucking know what you've been through. Because it's fucking disgusts me. It just disgusts me to my stomach, and makes me fucking sick to think about it. But whatever, people go through that shit every fucking day. And I'm a homosexual, I'm gay, and I have to deal with shit as well. And I know what that's like. But fortunately, like, you know, like, not everybody knows that I'm gay. So if you have people that are homophobic, like, they don't necessarily know that they're dealing with that with a gay person all the time. And so I don't always get that. But it's clear, like, when they do know, and it's not like I've had some bad experiences, but fortunately, again, it's like I can go under the radar sometimes, even though I don't necessarily want to, because I just want to be free to be myself. But again, like, the world is not great. Is this a Black Panther review? Yes, it is a Black Panther review. I'm sorry, folks. I need to talk about all this shit because it's so important. It's such an important thing for us to be thinking about these things and talking about these things and really calling out the important moments like this one, where, again, we have this wonderful movie being released that is so important, and ultimately it is just entertainment, it is just spectacle, but, like, again, it has a lot of significance. Anyway, so that's the one thing I wanted to talk about with this movie. Second thing, the actual movie. Fucking awesome, man. I mean, it was just riveting, you know, like, it was your standard Marvel film, like a standalone, like, introduction to a character, even though we already saw Black Panther in Civil War. But, like, the way the world was presented, it was just so beautiful. And, like, the culture of Wakanda, and, like, the backstory of Wakanda and all the characters, like the actors. Oh my god, the degree of talent was like off the fucking hook. Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, fucking Denai Guerrera, fucking Daniel Kaluuya. I mean, so the girl that played Shuri, the little sister, is Latita Wright. I mean, Forrest Whitaker, Angela Bassett. I was like, oh, and of course you had Martin Freeman, you had Andy Serkis, you had fucking Bilbo and Gollum, which was dope. But my fucking god, Denai Guerrera. I fucking love Denai Guerrera, man. She's beautiful. She's talented. She's charismatic. I love her as Michonne. Love her as Michonne. Love when she's on fucking Talking Dead and she's bald and she's like just being her bald, beautiful self. And she got to be bald in this fucking movie wearing those dope-ass, colorful fucking warrior outfits. Oh, man, that was awesome. That was just dope. Oh, man, fucking Michael B. Jordan. I mean, first of all, fucking hot. Chadwick Boseman, too, very fucking hot. But Michael B. Jordan is, like, looking fucking stacked. Like, that guy was... He's fucking enormous. He was this little skinny kid once, like, on The Wire. Now he's, like, fucking... The Hulk, he's got amazing charisma. If they had cast him as Black Panther, I wouldn't have hated it. Chadwick Boseman is fantastic though. He's really a great Black Panther. He's so good at portraying power and vulnerability at the same time. Like, and it's not like he's vulnerable because like he's vulnerable in terms of like transitioning into being the king and not being quite sure about it. It's just like he's just a person, and like there's certain things that shake a person, you know, and like when your close father dies, like that's gonna shake you, and like that's clear. It's clear that was still resonating. I mean, even though this was all happening for him and he was becoming king, like he lost his father, who he was very close to, and also, and I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but there's some stuff that comes out in the film that does affect his perception of his father, and so there's a lot going on there, but there's also strength. It's wonderful, just the way that it was played. Lupita Nyong'o, man. My God, like, her character, the way she portrayed her, like the strength, the confidence, it was wonderful. It was everything that I wanted it to be, from her, broad power. She was clearly the lead. I thought Denai Guerrera would be, but she was clearly the lead, like, female character. Not that it matters if they're female or not, but it's obviously like, you know, Chadwick Boseman is the lead, and so anyone else could be supporting, but she was a very strong character to the point where I saw her as like an equal to him, and she brought that same gravitas, and so it was a great dynamic that she created by being her wonderful, awesome, powerful self. Alongside Chadwick Boseman. So it was really fucking a great casting choice. I think the whole cast was just cast perfectly, and it just kept getting better and better. Even Shuri, the Leticia Wright, I think her name is, she was fantastic. Like, it was so authentic, and like I totally bought it, you know. I totally bought that she was like this genius, like scientist, doctor, everything. Like, she had it all together, and the way the way it was portrayed, it was authentic. Like, it actually felt like this could happen in the world. Like, you could have like this secret genius living in this secret fucking technologically advanced society hidden from the rest of the world. Fucking great, man. Anyway, the drama that occurred throughout the entire film, the whole story arc, I loved it. I fucking loved it. It was so surprising. Like, I did not expect the things to happen that happened. And just the way that it went down was just, it made sense to the story, and it was captivating, and it was a great sort of arc for the entire film. Like, I didn't know where they were going to go with it. I was just like, I'm in for the pretty colors and and Marvel and the people, but then of course, beyond that, you had great fucking storytelling. You had Ryan Coogler, his amazing direction, coming in, creating this world, executing it flawlessly. There were a couple of things here and there, but overall, it was beautiful, like the way it was put together. And it everything came together so well, and I loved it. So anyway, the story, fantastic. The acting, fantastic. Visual design, fantastic. All the elements that you would expect from a Marvel film were there at the highest level, and that's I would expect nothing less. I know there was like some stuff prior, because like this was announced along with all of the other Phase 2 films. This is a Phase 2 film, I'm pretty sure. I think so. Maybe not. Maybe this is Phase 3. This is Phase 3, right? This is Phase 3. Anything after Avengers 2 is Phase 3, I think. Anyway, these were all announced so long ago, before Spider-Man was announced to be back in the MCU, and that they were going to make a standalone Spider-Man film. And so this was actually pushed back because of that. And so there was some murmurings online of like, oh, they pushed the Black Panther film back, like as though the Black Panther character didn't matter as much. But clearly, like, it had nothing to do with anything other than like, well, we have Spider-Man back. Let's give him the center stage he deserves, and we'll just push back Black Panther so we can give Black Panther his proper stage. And now he's getting it. The film is of the highest caliber. Clearly, it's going to do well financially. Clearly, people like it. So, I mean, everything is working in its favor, and I'm really happy for it. Finally, I want to talk about Ryan Coogler, just really briefly. Again, he went to USC Film School. It's just such a wonderful thing to know that, like, someone that went to my school who got the training, that I know you can get there, because they are so good there about, like, just exposing you to every facet of filmmaking that you can think of, today, yesterday, from the start of filmmaking to the present, internationally. You see how the craft developed, you see all the various phases of it, and you really get into the ideas that went behind why the art form developed in the way that it did, why ultimately there are certain methods that are used that are better than others. Like, it's so precise, and like, it's clear that he totally absorbed that whole fucking curriculum, and he is able to execute a film in a wonderfully cinematic. There was such great, like, long take shots with all sorts of action, like the camera moving all over the place. It's exactly what I would expect from someone who's a fucking true filmmaker, and the motherfucker knows what he's doing, and he executed it for me pretty flawlessly. There were a couple of moments where it was a lot of shaky stuff, but I don't think it was necessarily him. It might have just been like transfer stuff. Nonetheless, in the end, what we got was a beautiful film. Obviously, he did a great job putting a cast together. I don't know who wrote this screenplay, but he did a great job of bringing that screenplay to life in a way that was not just satisfying to like Marvel fans, but also consistent within that world, and also, again, in a very subtle way, like kind of being self-aware of its importance as sort of this cultural moment for all of us, and it's wonderful. Like I teared up. I teared up at the end yesterday. Like at the end of it, I was just and I clapped. Nobody else was clapping. Unfortunately, it was a stupid audience. It was not the greatest theater, but it really moved me, the whole experience. I'm definitely gonna go watch this again. I'll probably watch it. I'm watching it on Sunday, I'm pretty sure. And so, yeah, I'm going to be enjoying this one quite a bit. I mean, give me more of this. I want more of this fucking world. Where's Black Panther 2? Fortunately, it's clear that we're going to see some of all of this shit in Infinity War, which is really exciting. Like the idea that now we can take this story into this very well-established world now. Like, obviously, we got a hint of this world at the end of Civil War. But now, like, it's been fleshed out, and we see now the world for what it is. The characters, they can now become part of the bigger Marvel universe, And you know, there's only good things to come. Anyway, that's my that's as much as I can say right now about this wonderful experience that I had watching this film. You should definitely go out and watch the movie. It's going to be worth it to you to do so. I highly recommend it. And that's it. All right, folks. Remember, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you press that little button down there right below the screen, and you can keep up with my other videos. And as always, I want to remind you that if you haven't already, you better put an X in that box because ain't nobody checking me. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.